Good morning. We're starting early today because, first of all, we have a very beautiful sky. We didn't have this much light and art in the sky for a while. The rain continued heavily, but right now we have a break. And the biggest reason actually that I'm doing this is today we're on retreat. So I want to be completely with the community program. And so here we are getting started. These are almost like the hills of Ireland, aren't they? It's funny, this looks brighter on the screen than it does in reality to my eyes. It's funny how light works and how light works on the phone. So I think I'll be a little shorter and brief today, also because of the retreat reason. I was half tempted just to put up a picture and the text link, but I thought this would be another solution. And that's a pretty neat sky for you to enjoy. And we say a Shabbat Shalom to our Jewish friends, and the best sentiments from the bottom of our heart for every single person. It's funny, these colors are looking better on the screen than they are to the naked eye. And I don't know how that is. Well, maybe it's because of the zoom in effect. Because we can't get our eyes to zoom in, right? We could focus, we could concentrate, but the camera allows a zoom in effect. Oops, sorry about that. Catching that bird there. These are special moments, before the sun has risen, quite a while before the sun rises, as the light gradually increases. And the disciples often found Jesus alone praying in the morning, praying in the nighttime. And the soul can concentrate more when there are less distractions, a type of peacefulness is there. The birds are cackling over here. I don't know if you can hear that cackling in the distance. Sometimes it rises to a higher volume. So it was evening time, and Jesus said to the disciples, let's cross over to the other side. Leaving the crowd, they took Jesus with them in the boat just as he was, and other boats were with him. Or with them. With him. A violent squall came up and waves were breaking over the boat. Oh, these are all these cormorants. They're organizing. They're going to come this way, I think. A violent squall came. and waves were breaking over the boat, so that it was already filling up. Pretty serious. The waves are filling up the boat. Jesus was in the stern, asleep on a cushion. Oh, by the way, just before it gets brighter, look what's up here. A little sliver of a waning moon, I think. So I just have a hunch here that Jesus wasn't taken by surprise by this storm. And this was part of the education of the disciples. Not only did he explain parables in private to them, but they saw a lot of the miracles close up. And they also had to go through trials. And there's a storm coming, but it's going to be for good. Hey, look at that. Look at that sky, people. And the lake, reflecting those colors. And Jesus was asleep in the stern, so he told them, go out here, let's go out, And maybe some of them were thinking, it doesn't look good in the sky here. But they weren't going to try to stop Jesus and his plan. And he's going to be asleep during the storm. And they're going to go through psychic torture, if you will. They're going to be scared. They're going to feel their helplessness. And they're going to discover that they have to trust. They woke him up and said, don't you care that we're perishing? He rebuked the wind and said to the sea, quiet, be still. The wind ceased and there was great calm. Then he asked them, why are you terrified? Do you not yet have faith? They were filled with great awe and said to one another, who then is this whom even wind and sea obey? And somebody else went through a tremendous storm. And that was David. And today we see another chapter in the storm of his passions, the storm of his violence. And now we see the new moment of repentance. When Nathan comes and points out in that marvelous parable about the poor guy that had one little ewe lamb. I know what a little ewe lamb is. Often had them in my arms. And in this story, this man has this ewe lamb in his arms. I never took a lamb to bed. I have a hard time hearing stories when people tell me that they have their little cats or their dog in bed. And, they were for the work on the farm. They weren't for... But anyway, this guy had the lamb in bed, so there you have a biblical foundation. And then there was the rich guy who had some guests coming, and he had thousands of sheep on the hills, but he forcibly took the little lamb that the poor guy had and slaughtered it to make a party for his guests. And David was furious. And Nathan says, you're the man. You took Uriah's wife. And so now David is in this storm of, first of all, recognizing his fault. And secondly, repenting from his fault. And thirdly, making amendment and praying. And so we have Psalm 51, this incredible work of repentance, of truth, making truth stating, this recognizing what my life is really like, puddles and mess. My life needs a big cleanup, a remake. Not a makeover, a completely renewal from the depths of the core of my being, not just some plastic surgery on the outside. And so this big storm David has been through is good for his soul. God allows us our freedom, and sometimes we make terrible decisions and terrible storms ensue. But God is so wonderful and gracious and marvelous that through this storm we can grow. And that's what happened to the disciples. Sometimes we get imprisoned in our sin, in our faults, in our brokenness, but God is bigger than our brokenness, our storms, and we can be transformed, totally transformed. So I encourage you to read the readings today. I'm going to say goodbye and wish you many blessings today. Read those beautiful words in the readings. Take some time this Saturday to go deep. Go out into the deep. And maybe you're going through a storm, and maybe it's easy for me to say here in Magdala at the Sea of Galilee that, that's what the storms are for. They shake us up, and we're really shaken up, and it's hard. But then let's realize somebody might be asleep in our boat, in our garage, in our kitchen, and we just have to start the process of being deeply transformed. Thank you all for joining. This has been wonderful. See you later, alligators. God bless you. Pray for our retreat today, for all of our priests on retreat. Every month we do a day of retreat like this. So we need that for our spiritual life, to keep growing, to realize that we are living near the Lord. The Lord is near us. Emmanuel, He is with us. And we can count on Him in every storm. God bless you.